guys, it's me again, and here we go for the first of today's video. This video is on Madagascar. As up until about 2,000 years ago, it remained uninhabited, and Indonesian kind of like those from Indonesia kind of arrived. And then about 800 years later, the Arabs sailed to Madagascar, and the first European to reach Madagascar was the Portuguese, called Diego Dias in 1500, but the Europeans showed little interest in the island, although it was used as a pirate, kind of like a base for pirates in the 17th century. And up until the 19th century, a kingdom called Marina took over most of the island, and as their king, Radown the first established relations between the British and allowed Christian missionaries to preach to his people. But Queen Rana Valona, from 1820 to 1861, tried to stop the spread of Christianity in Madagascar, as she also tried to preserve independence from European powers. I would suggest look her up, as she would take up a video all of her own. But it didn't stop them, as in 1890 Britain gave up all claims to Madagascar and recognised the region as a union in the French sphere of influence, and France formally annexed Madagascar 6 years later in 1896. And when France surrendered to Germany in 1940, a public government was formed in Vichy. But at first Madagascar was under the control of Vichy, but in 1942 they surrendered to the British, and after the war Madagascar was handed back to the French. But peace wasn't lost, as in 1947 the people of Madagascar again rose in rebellion against the French, but they didn't really stand a chance. However, in 1958 Madagascar became autonomous, and they became completely independent on the 26th of June 1960 as Philibert Serrana, sorry about that, became the first president, but he was forced to resign 12 years later in 1972, and was replaced by Gabriel Raman, and he was introduced socialism, which was kind of disastrous in Madagascar, as socialism doesn't really work in many places as such, as we've seen in history. In 1975 he was replaced by Didier Ratsiraka, who ruled until 1991. But he continued socialist policies that impoverished Madagascar even more than by his predecessor, Gabriel. I'm just going to call him Gabriel for now. If I have to say a surname more than once, I'm just going to call him by their first name. But in 1993, multi-party elections were held, and Gabriel remained in power, and even won the 1997 presidential elections again. But a new person followed him in 2002, called Mark Ravalomanana. Just gonna call him Mark, as Mark was re-elected in 2007, and in January 2009 protests broke out against his rule, and in March 2009 the army made Andry Rajoelina president. However, the presidential and parliamentary elections were held in 2013. Sorry if I botched this next name. As Henry Rajan Ari Mampianina became president in 2014, and from the mid-1990s, Madagascar had abandoned socialism and the economy began to recover, but today it still remains relatively poor, and the population is about 24.4 million. As Madagascar is an island nation located in the Indian Ocean, is made up of the island of Madagascar, which we all know, and several smaller islands. As a nation has a population of about 24.4 million, and is primarily made up of a Malagasy ethnic group, which account for about 90% of the population. As the country is a francophone nation, and has Malagasy and French as the official languages. As Malagasy is one of the more popular languages in Madagascar, and with the majority of the residents be able to hold a conversation in the language. And in 1958, the Constitution of Madagascar established Malagasy as one of the two official languages in the country, the other being French, but in 1992, the Constitution made no provision constituting the official status of Malagasy language, with the language maintaining its status at base as de facto. In the 2007 Constitution, reinstated Malagasy as one of 3 official languages in Madagascar, with a language becoming the national language of the country. And there's about estimated 18 million Malagasy speakers within Madagascar in 2007, the Malagasy is a Malayo-Polynesian language of the Austronesian language group, and it's more closely related to native languages spoken in Malaysia, the Philippines, and Indonesia, and is distinct from other languages native to neighbouring African nations such as Mozambique in Africa. And while the majority of Malagasy speakers are found in Madagascar, there are also a significant number of native speakers also present in neighbouring islands such as the Comoros and Reunion, as Malagasy speakers are also found in small numbers in France and Quebec being kind of like a state in Canada, spoken by Madagascan expatriates, as the languages originated from an ancient Austronesian people who were the first settlers on the island, who migrated from Southeast Asia, and there are 2 distinct dialects in Malagasy. On Madagascar, there's the Eastern and Western dialects, as the Eastern Malagasy dialect has the highest number of speakers, and is more prominent in the eastern regions of the country, while the rest is, like its eastern counterpart, is mainly spoken in the western region. As Mascan resident, she's an Arabic Ajami script, commonly known as Sorabe script, when writing Malagasy manuscripts. However, in recent years, the language has made it come to the use of Latin orthography. And then moving on to the other official language of French. French is an official language in Madagascar as provided by the Constitution of Madagascar, as the majority of Madagascan residents can speak French, as it is used in learning and in government as a medium of instruction, as a foreign language was introduced to Madagascar when it became a French colony in 1897. There were a large number of settlers from France relocated to the island and controlled much of the country's wealth. and after gaining independence in 1858, the country maintained French as a national language due to its proliferation in the local population. But after the country gained independence, a lot of the French settlers left, leaving behind a small number of native French speakers, as the native French speakers are currently estimated to be about 123,000, or 0.618% of the total Madagascar population. And then there's also English as well. As Madagascar is a francophone country, English is a means of communication in major cities due to globalization and the popularity of music and movies from English-speaking countries. As 2007 constitution indicating English as one of the official languages of the country, but its status was withdrawn in 2010 after a referendum. And presently, English is used as matters relating to Madagascar's foreign policy. Moving on to legends. Today I'm talking about two friends. They met on a path in a forest, and as one went, "Well, hello, Mr. Akoho," said the first. "Hello, Mr. Akanga," replied the other, and they both were so excited, for they had not seen each other in quite some time. As Mr. Akoho and Mr. Akanga sat down to reminisce, as they had grown up together and they shared many childhood adventures. Do you remember, as one Mr. Akanga laughed, "Do you remember the time we snuck into the farmer's house and took some of his corn? He nearly hit you with his slingshot." "Don't go around hitting people with a slingshot." I sure do," chuckled Mr. Akoho, who thought of all the more dangerous adventures he had had since then. As he went, "Hey, I've been travelling all morning without breakfast," he said. "Shall we go and pay the farmer another visit?" As Mr. Akoho and Mr. Akanga walked to the edge of the forest and peered through the bushes at the end of the farmer's land. No one was there. "Maybe the farmer and his family have gone to work in the field," says Mr. Akoho. "Let's go." He tipped towards the hut and carefully peeped inside. No one was there either. As Mr. Akanga was afraid the farmer might be nearby and whispered quickly, and they looked at the table and searched the floor and poked their heads under the bed, but found nothing. "I'm starving," said Mr. Akoho. "Let's check the other hut as well." As they raced across the yard to the door of the other dwelling, "Look," cried Mr. Akanga, who spotted a mound like a pile of sweet potatoes piled high in one corner. "What should we do?" he asked, knowing that the sweet potatoes were very heavy to carry but were also very nice to eat. As they raced across the yard to the door of the other dwelling, "Look," cried, "I'm going to take two of those big ones home and eat until I'm full as the farmer's pig," said Mr. Akoho. He inspected each of the sweet potatoes, arranging them in a line from the biggest to the smallest, and not leaving until the final two biggest ones, he bragged. "Not me," said Mr. Akanga. "I'm going to take some of those little ones and get out of here." He flew away carrying a few small sweet potatoes from the end of the line, and he landed near the edge of the forest and hid, waiting for Mr. Akoho to follow. But in the meantime, the farmer returned and was moving slowly, tired after his long day, tending to the fields of beans and corn. As he dropped his shovel suddenly and started running towards the hut after seeing the thieves' tracks in the sand, as Mr. Akanga saw the farmer from his hideout and deep in the bushes. Run, Mr. Akaho, he pleaded. The farmer's coming. Mr. Akaho heard his friend's warning. Started to leave as he was dragged two giant sweet potatoes behind him. When the farmer caught him coming out of the hut, as the farmer grabbed him by the neck before he could fly away. Help! As Mr. Akaho then screamed for help as the farmer carried him away. No one was there to hear him cry. Mr. Hanger had already retreated to safety far in the forest, and there are days when Mr. Akanga misses his friend, and he will venture down to the edge of the forest to see him. As Mr. Akaho is still there, but is now old and lazy, as farmer feeds him a handful of rice or corn every day, and lets him roam free around the yard because Mr. Akaho no longer tries to escape. And from his old hideout, Mr. Akanga always thinks about his happy childhood with Mr. Akaho, and regrets the last adventure together, as he still waves to his friend every time he visits, although he knows that Mr. Akaho has stopped waving back at him. It's like a nice little tale and all that, but yeah. That's Madagascar for you, and I'll see you later. Bye for now.